Ibn Hajar, from Al-Qurtubi, that the Bedouin, the people of the desert, are going to take control of the government. They are going to take control in their hands, and those people who are educated or they are better off, they will be thrown out, and Ahlul Badiya, the people of the desert, will take over. They took over or not? Yes. And it is not us, it is 1500 years ago explanation. ويتملك البلاد بالقهر وتكثر أموالهم. And they will
on my journal that Zeke's mother has is so important.
Control and take the country by force. And their money is going to be too much that no one can count it. More than Qarun. You know Qarun. And all their concern وتنصرف هممهم إلى تشييد البنيان. And all their concern is to build buildings. And not only to build the buildings.
What was their ambition? Build a mile-long skyscraper that was sideways that they've been working on. That was all encased in glass and shit, besides the island things and the other stuff where they completely changed the whole like ecosystem of the ocean and shit and other things. As you see people getting arrested and thrown in jail for showing videos of the hotels getting bombed by Iran and property value dropping by 45%, 60% since this war in Iran started. And you hear the Trump administration people saying that this is to bring on, you know, the end of the world. The house is on fire. Is anybody paying attention? Anybody fucking paying attention? Because you got people thinking that those people are trying to bring that on, and yet the shit that we've been doing for the last several hundred years, not the last 100 years, is bringing on, no, last almost 200 years. Because with oil and other things like that and the way things went, it made it to where we're on this paradigm. You understand? Because if the Saudis didn't have oil money and we didn't see it in the manner that it is, they wouldn't have buildings and such. You understand? We would have went electric. Comprehend I'm getting it? It's like with the hemp and other things back 100 something years ago. They had electric vehicles in the 1870s. We would have went that way instead of fucking with gas. The Bedouins wouldn't have been pushed out. You wouldn't have had all these wars. We wouldn't have the shit that's going on right now. You wouldn't have the ice age that we're going into. That several things were, several of the Monroe Institute things we're talking about. Like you listened to the other day, where it was stating, you know, and I was stating to you, this is where recycling and global warming comes from these earth change things that are talked about. And like it was stating in the 1989 message of what's going on. I had looked to see what this thing was talking about, because this channeling was stating that the forest and the soil was being depleted of calcium. So I looked to see 1989 forestry calcium depletion thing, and that was the first year they ever started like scanning and studying that. And you go, is it because of that channel or what? They've not ever looked into that before. 1989, they started looking into calcium depletion of soil. They had just had the the 1989 La Prete 7.2 earthquake in the bay, and the hurricane that hit the East Coast. First time, second time it hit other than 1955 when Plum Island was fucked up, and fucking that shit, Lyme disease and shit was released into America on purpose during that. That's when Lyme disease popped up in America. And you have this channeling talking about the storms are going to get worse in that manner, so on and so forth, if you don't change the calcium, replenish in the soil, and stop deforesting. Because what's happening, as it stated, was you're going to go into global an ice age, and all the water that you have melted and all the water that would be doing its thing normally and collecting on the mountains and doing its stuff, be it that you are cutting down the trees, that water is going to the poles that's stated, or in a sense in the atmosphere. Henceforth, all this shit they're stating now of fucking atmospheric rivers, lakes, and oceans in the fucking sky, and it's like, where did that water come from? We never experienced that and didn't figure whoop-de-whoop. And what I've been saying since I was a kid about that was, I never snowboarded or skied or liked that stuff, as you heard when we first met.
How wasteful it is to create.
Not just that, was for the ski runs and the ski slopes and the snowboarding routes and so forth and shit that you were doing and had grew up on around the world, all those trees that are cut down in that area, it changes the hydrodynamics.
I'm just saying the golf course.
See, but golf course, that's not what I'm talking about. Wait a minute. You can make a golf course with solar panels. Henceforth, been finding solar panels growing food vegetation, as they thought stupidly would be in reverse, would hinder and be detrimental to growing food with it, when they found that it actually replenishes soil moisture content, makes microbes, other things like that come in desert areas where you can undesertify a desert area to a golf course would retain its water. Now, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like up here, I mean on the mountains, where you see the snowpacks, the hydrodynamics of the static of the water going down, coming up, but also being charged from the wind blowing into the trees, so on and so forth. That hydrostatic inductive charge that programs the water stream, collects the water stream, so on and so forth. It makes it to where it snows in the area. Once you cut the trees away from the ski resort to make that area a ski resort, you notice they have to start doing fake snow. That's what that channeling, the thing talking to her, it expressed. That water is now going to the poles. Henceforth, these weird ass crazy things that are going on, and our ocean currents collapsing the way that they are. Salinity and other things like that. The salt pump. The ocean current in the South Atlantic anomaly getting worse and changing all of that. But also our nuclear reactors changing the water and so forth, like I was stating and been studying for a while and trying to bring people's attention. That our Earth's vibration itself is raising. You have to raise yourself with it, like these channels keep talking about, as the Earth is alive. Or you're going to get shook off. And what I thought was interesting is in that channel it stated what will happen is crustal displacement will shift and will cause us to go into another ice age for supposedly 50,000 years, and then we'll get a 10,000 year break again like we just had. That was 1989, this thing had expressed its stuff. And here we are 37 years later, and
decorated, and they build, one compete with the other in building higher building than the other. As you saw in the picture, that most of the buildings are above the clouds in the Gulf, above the cloud, and you can see the buildings according to the picture, the buildings on their top, one higher than the other, all over the city. You can see it completely because the picture was being taken from either by an aeroplane or by a high rise that someone is standing on top there taking picture of the whole city, and he sent that picture over to say that the hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam 1500 years ago is came to reality through that picture. وقال الإمام النووي, that they blow his grave recently, and they said that's shirk, so they blow it completely up.
As I've been stating, since Obama and them had made those groups that they did with ISIL and other things, and Bush and fucking Trump and so forth, and their tactics, like the Israelis, so you see what Gaza and what they're doing in Lebanon and Iran and also our country, we're blowing up all the holy sites, like we did in Iraq and Afghanistan and other things like that. And also the tombs, as you've seen, where it was always green masjids and or Sufi places around the world being desecrated and exploded, is what he's talking about.
He said معنى أن أهل البادية وأشباههم من أهل الحاجة والفاقة. The people of the desert, he gave another interpretation, is not only the people of the desert, but also the poor people of the country. They take over the country. Through what? Through parliaments. You know, through parliaments? Means they come in, they win the election, حسالة القوم. The lowest type of people. They take over and they control the government.
Like what is happening?
وتبسط لهم الدنيا, and dunya will be given to them, the keys for everything, for the wealth of the country, it will be given to them. Now, the most richest countries are the Muslim countries, through the oil that they are finding in their countries. حتى يتباهون في البنيان, until they begin to build high rises. And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, يتطاولون, means they compete. Who is going to build higher than the other? And this is what we are seeing mostly in the desert countries. There is in Malaysia,